Shrink in the house. Took a little day off there or two. Back in here, and lordy, man, where have you been all my life? As you guys can see, there's something different behind me. It's been there for the last few videos. I've been, just processing for many hours, actually. But to tell you the truth, it didn't take long at all. Again, when they came into the room, I was looking for something. And I wasn't looking for, because I'm not a buzzword guy. I'm not an expert. I'm going to throw all these frickin' terms out there. Soundstage, height, depth, cold, dry, sterile, dark, woolly, tubby, giant killer. Like all this bullshit. I'm just going to say it straight. You know what I look for ahead of all those other buzzwords? It's got to be more than just sound. It's got to be emotional engagement. And that is only something that you will feel. And this is why this journey can take so long, because you'll never know what I'm talking about until you actually feel it. And it's almost immediate. And I have components, and that's why they've stayed behind me for years, because they do that. Right? And I, ever since I did the huge teardown a few months ago, I moved some things over to the TV room thinking I'm going to be using them over there. Well, it's just not me. I got one place where I indulge in my music in my space, and I don't care about the people that got 5 systems. That I feel for them, because I don't know. To each their own, nothing against them, but I just think simpler is better. Why not have one beautiful system instead of a bunch of, second rate compared to the reference. So, I had a few speakers. I just thought, okay, well, I got the bolt stand over there, and that's going to be able to hold all my equipment. So why not just bring it over and, turn it into a tool shed for the channel? And that's what I did. And everything fit just barely, like my last video talks about, having the proper space for everything you own. It can become a real problem. So I thought, hey, all I got to do, I already have 2 sources. Well, I have a source I can use for the, 2 for the line magnetic. And so that's what I did. I moved them all over and went on a speaker hunt, because I got rid of the Grahams. I liked thinking, holy shit, I could get $5,000 and then just bank that, put it toward the condo, and look at something in the price range that I usually like to play, because that's the max for me. I don't go over $5,000 on the used market. It's just the area where I play, and as I've stated before, you can get some absolutely unbelievable gear, especially at that price at the used market. Even $1,500, $2,000 range, superb stuff. Unless you're a rich guy, again, experience exceeds money. I've said that many times. So, I went on the hunt to pair up the line magnetic, and it's a lot easier to pair than people realize, the 845 single-ended triout. There's just so much power when it relates to what it says it is, which is 22 watts. You've never heard anything like it. Like, this thing's powered some speakers better than 200 watt on paper solid state amplifiers I've had in here. 180 watt solid state amp. They were lean compared to the line magnetic. So again, I had 2 speakers, but the pairing with the bel canto and the spatial is world class. I haven't been able to even come close to it. But the bel canto wasn't the best with some other speakers that came in. So here we go, right? Nothing's perfect. So I had a couple speakers that you've seen in the prior videos. One was similar to the, I forget the name of it. It's a tall column with a brass, single range, full range driver. They were gorgeous speakers. And I just expected more from the low end, like a better foundation of the music. And it just, unfortunately, was not there. It was a company that just never really... The guy built one speaker for years. It was really well made, cordless binding post, great wiring, great cabinet work, everything. But he passed away, so the value on those speakers if they're going to work for somebody, they're going for really cheap. One of the bargains of hi-fi, if bass isn't a concern. So, and then I had a chance to try the Merlins. Okay, now those were, I'm telling you, those are some of the hardest speakers I've ever encountered when it comes to driving. And I knew the Moral drivers, I knew that about them. You need massive power. I'm telling you, those things could not come to life no matter what I did. I put them super close to the wall, you know. I really wanted to buy those, but I even paid the guy to bring them over here to audition to make sure that I was making the right choice. So when the Totem Element Embers, okay, now this was a speaker that came out that, again, was in the sweet spot of the lineup that they no longer offer, okay? It basically almost went from the Rainmaker all the way to the Tribe Tower, then the Fire. So there was just this huge gap in the middle, right? They've always had the anniversary speakers, you know, which I've owned, the one, and now it's the Signature 130th anniversary, which I owned as well. But guys, man, I could almost tell immediately, I always want to own things that are proprietary, smaller companies. I can't say Totem's a boutique brand, but I'd say it's borderline. But what I've always wanted to hear in my room, because I did own the Tribe Towers, okay? To me, I didn't feel the money, $6,000. They just felt like little toys. But man, when I got these ones, the Embers, I'll get closer and do some really close-ups on just everything about them, man. They are so gorgeous, guys. The finish, it's not that satin finish, they call it ice. And out of all I've had so many stem mounts. I've never seen like an automotive pearl white like this. Just the angling of the cabinet. I mean, it kind of has an angle on every single section of the cabinet except the front. And that's all to do with the design and the diffraction, right? But I don't need to get, to do close-ups of the speaker. There's lots of pictures. I'm going to do that when I do my little tour. It's rear ported. I mean, it's got the best frickin' speaker taps you can buy, which are the WBT Platinum Signatures. They're $1,000 Canadian, guys, just for the terminals on these speakers. The proprietary Torrent driver. Guys, if I've ever had a speaker that I could call close to perfect in my room for a stand mount, it's these. I mean, no matter how hard you push them, they sound better. The top end never gets harsh, some people, again, these aren't the detail connoisseurs. They're just not. They're not going to give you all that, crystal clean clarity. No, they're a very, very smooth operator. Some may think they're too smooth. I don't. They have a perfect blend of detail and smoothness, meaning that you can turn them up and they don't get away. And also, they're not champions at low level, but they're really, really good. They're good enough to stay in my room. Like, they do sound really great. They're 88 dB at 8 ohms. And again, you can't look at that and say, oh, that's going to be easy to drive. It's not. They like power, and I could tell, right? Because I've tried both amps. But man, I gotta say, guys, the Totem Element Ember, they come up once in a while, used. They're a gorgeous speaker. They play big. The bass is unbelievable. Nothing stands out, like it's not overly overdone, the bass. It's very accurate. The top end, the imaging is amazing. The female vocals sound incredible, and so they should. They were like almost $5,000, right, at the time. But, to have these drivers, the Torrent, that's totally proprietary, and they're so gorgeous, guys. Like, you can just kind of see it. I love looking at that aluminum grain, of that driver there. Can't quite see him. It's too bad. But look at those, guys. Look at the finish of that. You can see your face in it. Good thing about them, though, I love white because you don't see all those fingerprints. I'm not a fan. You can't see anything. They're just like a museum piece. They look like a Lamborghini, right? and they sound the part. I'm so grateful that I got these and I don't need to change now. Like, I mean, it's very difficult to find these things on the journey that just work right, and you know it, you feel it, right? So that's what's happened here. I now have 2 reference systems, 1 tube, 1 solid state, to carry on with this journey and to entertain y'all and try to help y'all the best I can. So anyone, like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Anyone that wants to donate to the channel, you can buy a super thanks down by the text bar. And with that, I'll let you go. Have a great day. More to come. Thanks.